Waking up multiple times at night to urinate isn't just annoying. It could be silently damaging your health. Most people over 50 think it's just part of aging, but the truth is far more complex. In this video, you'll discover what's really causing this and how to stop it naturally before the effects become harder to reverse. Let me ask you something personal. How many times did you wake up to urinate last night? Once? Twice? More than that? If you're over 50, you might have accepted this nightly interruption as something normal, just a part of aging, right? But what if I told you that waking up frequently to urinate at night, a condition known as nocturia, is not just a harmless side effect of growing older? What if this seemingly minor disruption is actually a sign that your body is struggling to adapt to deep changes happening under the surface? Here's the truth. After 50, your body begins to undergo subtle but significant shifts. Your hormones, kidneys, bladder, and even your brain start to behave differently. These changes don't just affect your sleep. They influence your heart health, blood pressure, metabolism, and even your cognitive clarity. And nocturia may be one of the first warning signs. Think about it. One trip to the bathroom per night may not seem like much, but over weeks and months, it adds up to hours of missed sleep. Interrupted sleep has been tied to increased risk of hypertension, blood sugar imbalances, and even memory decline. But there's something more that most people don't realize. What if I told you that there's a very specific window of time each night when your body is supposed to heal, regulate, and reset, and that by waking up to urinate during this phase, you're unknowingly sabotaging one of your body's most powerful self-repair mechanisms? This isn't about scaring you. It's about awareness. The good news is, there are natural, safe, and surprisingly simple strategies to reduce or even eliminate nocturia entirely. And not through medications or drastic interventions, but by understanding and supporting your body's natural rhythms. It starts with knowledge, because once you understand what's really happening after 50, what specific age-related changes trigger nocturia, you'll see that this isn't random. Your body is communicating something important, and the earlier you listen, the sooner you can restore balance. Let me give you a quick example. You might think your bladder is just getting weaker, but that's not always true. In many cases, the bladder is working just fine. The real issue may lie in your body's diminished ability to concentrate urine during the night. That function is heavily influenced by a hormone called vasopressin, which naturally declines with age. Less vasopressin means more urine production while you sleep. Add to that the fact that many people unknowingly eat foods that overstimulate the kidneys at dinner, drink too much water late in the evening, or consume ingredients that irritate the bladder, and you have a perfect recipe for nightly interruptions. But here's something most people never hear. Nocturia isn't just an annoying inconvenience. Left unchecked, it can set off a chain reaction that affects blood pressure control, insulin sensitivity, and your body's ability to produce melatonin, your sleep hormone. In other words, it can quietly erode your health from the inside out. So yes, it's about more than just getting better sleep. It's about restoring deep, essential functions that protect your heart, your brain, and your energy. And before we go deeper, I want to promise you something. At the end of this journey, I'm going to share a little-known natural method to not only stop nocturia, but enhance your body's healing ability at night. It's something that works alongside the techniques we'll explore, and it can dramatically amplify your results. I won't mention it until the very end, but trust me, you'll want to stay for it. Because when we're talking about health over 50, small details matter. A missed step, a misunderstood quantity, or a poorly timed habit can undo weeks of progress, and this is your body, your most valuable asset. So, let's treat it that way. Now, let's uncover the age-related changes that silently begin to disrupt your nights. Because once you see what's really happening inside your body, you'll be one step closer to reversing it. And remember, the next insight is one of the most important of all. Skipping it won't just reduce your results, it may lead to consequences that go far beyond a lost night of sleep. After 50, something almost invisible begins to shift inside your body. You don't notice it right away. At first, it may feel like you just wake up a little more often. Maybe your bladder feels fuller than usual. Maybe your sleep doesn't feel quite as deep. But what's actually happening goes much deeper than that. Your body, once a fine-tuned system of water regulation and hormonal balance, begins to lose some of that precision. It's not your fault. It's not something you did wrong. It's biology. But the real issue is this. Most people have no idea what these changes mean, and even fewer know how to respond. Let's take a look at some of these changes, because understanding them is the first step to reversing their effects. One of the most surprising shifts is the reduction in a hormone called vasopressin. This hormone tells your kidneys to retain water at night. In youth, vasopressin levels naturally rise in the evening, allowing your bladder to rest while your body sleeps. But as we age, vasopressin secretion declines. The kidneys no longer get the message to slow down. Instead, they keep filtering at full speed, producing more urine while you sleep. And that's how your night starts getting interrupted. You might think, isn't my bladder just weaker? Not necessarily. In many people, the bladder's capacity remains intact. The problem is that there's simply too much fluid to hold, too often due to hormonal imbalance. Another critical piece of this puzzle involves your heart. Yes, your heart. As we age, certain cardiovascular changes can affect how blood flows when we lie down. In some individuals, lying flat causes fluid that was pooled in the legs during the day to return to the bloodstream, get filtered by the kidneys, and end up in the bladder. That extra fluid becomes a nocturnal flood you weren't expecting. And then there's your circadian rhythm, your internal clock. This intricate system controls far more than sleep and wakefulness. It regulates hormone release, kidney function, and bladder signals. But if your rhythm is off because of inconsistent sleep times, exposure to blue light late at night, or lack of morning sunlight, then your body doesn't know when to shut things down. You stay in on mode even when you should be deeply asleep. Let's not forget the impact of common medications used in midlife and beyond. Many prescriptions for blood pressure, heart health, or even mild anxiety have diuretic effects. They increase urination, either directly or by altering fluid balance. Sometimes, the medication you take at breakfast still has enough influence by bedtime to disrupt your night. These are just some of the biological changes, silent, steady, and deeply connected. They don't arrive with flashing warning lights, but they add up. And when you combine them with modern habits like late-night snacking, excess caffeine, or high-sodium convenience meals, you're giving your body even more to struggle with. Here's what you might not know. These age-related changes aren't destiny. They can be softened. They can be supported. You can work with your body instead of fighting against it to create a new balance. Imagine learning how to support vasopressin production naturally, or how to adjust your evening routine so your heart, kidneys, and bladder all align. Imagine discovering that just 10 minutes of early sunlight exposure can recalibrate your circadian rhythm and reduce nighttime urination. These are the kinds of powerful, natural adjustments we'll explore together. Because when you understand the real drivers of nocturia, you begin to see the solutions in a whole new light. It's not about chasing symptoms. It's about restoring systems. It's about knowing what your body needs and when it needs it. And it's about realizing that the right changes at the right time can deliver results that medication often can't. The next piece of this journey is one of the most revealing. We're going to look at the foods you probably eat every evening without suspecting they're making things worse, and why eliminating just one of them could dramatically reduce your nocturia symptoms in a matter of days. If you skip it, you won't just miss out on powerful improvements. You may unknowingly continue a cycle that not only disturbs your sleep, but subtly weakens your cardiovascular and metabolic health over time. So pay close attention, because this is where real transformation begins. It might seem harmless: a bowl of soup, a salad with dressing, a cup of herbal tea to relax before bed. But what if I told you that some of the most common evening habits, especially the ones we think are healthy, might be quietly sabotaging your nights? We often focus on how much we eat, or when we eat, but what we eat, especially in the hours leading up to bedtime, plays a direct role in how often you wake up to urinate during the night. And it's not just about avoiding water late at night. The real culprits are often hiding in plain sight. Let's start with something surprising: that light, comforting bowl of soup. Many people over 50 choose soups in the evening because they're easy to digest and feel lighter than heavier meals. But here's the issue. Most canned or powdered soups contain an enormous amount of sodium. Sodium causes your body to hold on to water temporarily, but as your kidneys try to restore balance, they push that excess fluid out, often during the night. Even healthy soups labeled as low-fat or organic can contain more sodium than a bag of chips. And it's not just soup. Salad dressings, marinades, sauces, and packaged frozen meals all carry hidden salts and additives that stimulate fluid release several hours after eating. Now let's talk about something even sneakier: sugar substitutes. Think of all the products labeled as sugar-free, light, or low-carb. Many of these contain artificial sweeteners like sucralose or aspartame, which have been linked to bladder irritation. These compounds may not cause immediate symptoms in everyone, but in people over 50 who already experience reduced bladder elasticity and hormonal changes, they can tip the balance. Another unexpected offender? Herbal teas. Yes, the same ones often recommended for relaxation. Some varieties, such as chamomile, hibiscus, and dandelion root, have mild diuretic effects. While that might not matter during the day, drinking them within 2 hours of bedtime can significantly increase nighttime urination. Even though they seem gentle, they subtly push your kidneys to work when they should be resting. And here's a detail almost no one talks about: the role of histamines in food. Certain aged foods, like smoked meats, aged cheeses, pickles, and fermented sauces, can increase histamine levels in the body. Histamines don't just affect allergies, they also have a stimulating effect on bladder nerves, increasing urgency and frequency. Even that innocent square of dark chocolate you save for the end of the day? It contains caffeine and theobromine, both of which act as mild diuretics. That tiny piece might be enough to push your bladder over the edge, especially if you've already consumed other trigger foods earlier in the evening. Here's why this matters. When your body is exposed to multiple irritants at once, high sodium, artificial additives, mild stimulants, the effects aren't just added together, they multiply. That means you could follow all the right sleep hygiene tips and still wake up at 2:30 a.m. wondering why your bladder won't let you rest. Now imagine reversing that pattern. Imagine crafting an evening routine that helps your body enter a deep, uninterrupted sleep cycle. That starts by identifying and removing the wrong foods, but also by learning which ones can actively support your healing. And here's the empowering part. The shift can be felt within days. When you remove bladder irritants and reduce kidney stimulation, your body recalibrates. Hormones begin to stabilize. Your bladder learns to stretch again. Your sleep becomes deeper, more restorative, and most importantly, your health trajectory changes. You gain back the hours your body needs to regulate blood sugar, repair tissues, balance stress hormones, and even protect your heart. Because those hours between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. are some of the most regenerative of your entire day. Now that you understand the danger of the hidden enemies on your dinner plate, we can finally talk about the allies. Foods that don't just avoid triggering nocturia, they actively help prevent it. And one of them is already sitting in your kitchen, just waiting to be used in the right way. What you're about to discover is one of the most underestimated but powerful tools in restoring your nights. Ignoring it won't just slow your progress. It could allow the cycle of nightly urination to quietly take a toll on your energy, your focus, and your overall vitality. It's not enough to simply remove what harms your nights. To truly reclaim your sleep and restore your body's balance, you need to know what to add. The right foods, taken at the right time, can do more than just avoid triggering nocturia. They can actively retrain your body to hold urine longer, sleep more deeply, and heal more completely. The first food that deserves your attention is one that's quietly being studied in sleep clinics and natural health circles alike: tart cherries. Not the sweet kind you find on pies, but the sour, ruby-red tart cherries known for their high content of natural melatonin. This isn't just a fruit. It's a natural signal to your body that it's time to rest. Melatonin, as you may know, is the hormone your brain produces to regulate sleep cycles. But it also plays a lesser-known role, helping to relax the smooth muscle tissue of the bladder, reducing spasms and urgency. That means tart cherries may help with both falling asleep and staying asleep without being woken by your bladder. Now, let's look at something that seems incredibly simple, yet is profoundly powerful: pumpkin seeds. These tiny seeds are packed with zinc, magnesium, and essential fatty acids, nutrients that support prostate function, bladder control, and the integrity of pelvic floor muscles. Pumpkin seed extract has actually been studied in clinical settings for its ability to reduce symptoms of overactive bladder and nocturia. But you don't need expensive supplements. Fresh, raw pumpkin seeds, lightly roasted if you prefer, can be part of your evening routine. And the best part? They work synergistically with tart cherries to provide both hormonal and muscular support. Let's not overlook a third powerhouse: cooked green banana. Not the ripe, sugary version most people know, but the firm, starchy banana before it ripens. When lightly boiled or steamed, it becomes rich in resistant starch, a type of fiber that feeds the good bacteria in your gut. Why does that matter? Because gut health is intricately tied to inflammation, hormone regulation, and mineral absorption. Studies suggest that poor gut health may be linked to bladder sensitivity and inflammation, which means restoring your microbiome could indirectly support a calmer, more resilient bladder. Now, here's something even more interesting. These three foods, when combined, create a cascade of benefits. Tart cherry helps you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. Pumpkin seeds provide the structural support to reduce urgency. Green banana supports the internal environment that makes those benefits last. But timing matters. These aren't foods to consume randomly. They work best when consumed about 1 hour before bed, ideally together. This gives your body time to begin absorbing the nutrients and entering a state of readiness for sleep. Let me give you an example. A simple evening blend might include a half cup of tart cherry juice, 1 tablespoon of ground pumpkin seeds sprinkled over a small serving of mashed green banana. This mix isn't just delicious, it's functional. It supports the bladder, soothes the nervous system, and prepares your digestive tract for rest. And here's what makes this so different from other approaches. You're not using artificial interventions to suppress symptoms. You're using nature to guide your body back into balance. That's not just safer, it's more sustainable. The body responds best when it feels safe, supported, and nourished. Thousands of people, especially in natural health communities and among aging veterans in the U.S., have used these exact foods to reduce or even eliminate nocturia episodes. And many report not only better sleep, but improvements in mood, energy, and even joint comfort. This is the kind of shift that ripples through every part of your life, because better sleep means better memory. Stronger pelvic function means more confidence, and fewer nighttime interruptions means your heart and kidneys can finally reset the way they were designed to. But one word of caution: don't overdo it. These are healing foods, but like anything natural, balance is key. Doubling the dose doesn't double the effect, and introducing them gradually gives your body time to adjust without resistance. Now that you know which foods help, the next insight may be even more critical. The exact timing of when you eat, drink, and move before bed could either support your healing or unravel your progress. And misunderstanding this step doesn't just reduce your results. It could introduce new imbalances that keep your body locked in the cycle you're trying to escape. Knowing what to eat is powerful, but knowing when and how you structure your evenings around those choices can make all the difference between progress and frustration. Because even the best nutrients, when taken at the wrong time or in the wrong way, can fail to do their job, or worse, create new imbalances that make things worse. Timing matters more than most people think, not just when it comes to meals, but also fluids, movement, light exposure, and even how you wind down mentally. Every part of your evening routine plays a role in regulating hormones, calming your nervous system, and signaling your kidneys and bladder to shift into rest mode. Let's start with fluids. Many people struggling with nocturia unknowingly drink water or herbal teas too late in the evening. The intention is usually good, to stay hydrated or relax before bed. But here's the truth. Drinking any substantial amount of fluid within 2 hours of lying down can force your kidneys to remain active when they should be slowing down. Instead, the goal should be to front-load your hydration. Drink the majority of your fluids earlier in the day, ideally finishing your last glass at least 90 minutes before bed. If your mouth feels dry later in the evening, a small sip is fine. But avoid the habit of drinking out of boredom or as part of a nighttime ritual. Movement is another overlooked piece. Light physical activity in the early evening, like a gentle walk after dinner, helps redistribute fluids that have pooled in your legs and lower body during the day. This helps your kidneys process excess water before you go to bed, reducing the chance of needing to eliminate it during the night. But after this post-meal activity, stillness is key. Once you enter your wind-down phase, your body should begin shifting into parasympathetic mode, the state of rest and digest. That means avoiding high-intensity exercise or emotionally stimulating activities right before bed. Even intense conversations, screen exposure, or stressful news can activate your nervous system and delay the hormonal transition into nighttime repair. This leads us to one of the most powerful and underused sleep tools: light. Your circadian rhythm, which governs your sleep-wake cycles, is directly influenced by light exposure. In the morning, getting 10 to 15 minutes of natural sunlight tells your brain to start producing cortisol for daytime energy. But just as importantly, dimming the lights in your home after sunset helps your brain begin producing melatonin, your body's primary sleep hormone. Bright overhead lights, televisions, smartphones, and tablets all emit blue light that can trick your brain into thinking it's still daytime. That reduces melatonin levels, increases alertness, and interferes with bladder regulation. Simply dimming the lights and turning off devices 60 minutes before bed can dramatically improve your sleep quality and reduce nighttime urgency. One more key element: digestion. Many people over 50 experience slower digestion, which can interfere with sleep when meals are eaten too late. A heavy or protein-rich meal at 9 p.m. may still be digesting at midnight, keeping your internal systems active when they should be resting. Ideally, aim to finish your last meal at least 3 hours before bed. If you need a small, targeted sleep-supporting snack, like the one we discussed earlier, take it no later than 60 minutes before lying down. This allows the body to begin absorbing nutrients without burdening your digestive system or disrupting your sleep cycle. These might seem like small adjustments, but they carry enormous influence. By aligning your hydration, movement, light exposure, and food timing with your body's natural rhythms, you create the internal conditions for deep rest and healing. Your hormones begin to regulate more smoothly. Your bladder gets a break. Your brain restores its natural chemistry. And most importantly, you start sleeping through the night. Not with effort, but with ease. Your body begins to trust the new rhythm. You regain control. You feel more energized, more focused, and more grounded throughout the day. This is what real healing looks like. Not a battle, but a gentle return to balance. And yet, for all these insights, there's still one crucial step left: a natural preparation that not only supports everything we've covered so far, but amplifies it. It acts as the final key, locking in the benefits of the foods, timing, and habits we've explored. Ignore it, and your progress could plateau. But used correctly, it could be the shift your body has been waiting for. Now that your body is aligned with the right foods, rhythms, and routines, it's time to bring it all together into a natural preparation that enhances everything you've already begun to heal. This is where the real transformation begins, not through complexity or extremes, but through the precise combination of simple, natural ingredients that work with your biology. Let's start by acknowledging something important. There is no magic bullet, but there are combinations of natural elements that, when used intentionally and consistently, can act like keys turning in the right locks. And this particular formula has shown incredible promise for people looking to reduce or even eliminate nocturia naturally, while also promoting deeper sleep and better hormonal balance. This isn't a product or a pill. It's a short, 3-ingredient recipe that can be prepared in just minutes and taken in the evening as part of your wind-down routine. Every element has been chosen for a specific reason. The base of the preparation is pure tart cherry juice. Not blends, not sweetened versions, but 100% tart cherry juice with no additives. As we've already explored, tart cherries are rich in natural melatonin and antioxidants. They help regulate sleep cycles and soothe inflammation, but their full potential is only activated when taken at the right time and in the right way. Next, we add a spoonful of ground raw pumpkin seeds. These are packed with zinc, magnesium, and plant sterols that support the bladder and prostate, especially in men. They also assist in neuromuscular control, helping reduce those sudden, urgent signals that force nighttime trips to the bathroom. The third core ingredient is cooked green banana. Not sweet or ripe banana, but the firm, starchy version, gently steamed or boiled. It provides resistant starch, which nourishes beneficial gut bacteria and supports mineral absorption. This helps reduce inflammation and promote better hormonal signaling. But there's one more element, a bonus addition that can supercharge this blend when used with care. Just a teaspoon of organic, raw apple cider vinegar. This ancient remedy is known to support pH balance, improve digestion, and enhance nutrient uptake, all critical in the nighttime repair process. But here's the key. It should only be used 2 to 3 times per week, not daily, to prevent overstimulation. Here's how to prepare the full evening blend. Half a cup of pure tart cherry juice, unsweetened, 1 tablespoon of ground raw pumpkin seeds, 1 to 2 tablespoons of mashed cooked green banana. Optional, 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar, no more than 2 to 3 times per week. Mix all ingredients together in a small bowl or blender. Consume slowly, about 60 minutes before bed, preferably after your final glass of water for the day. Let it become a ritual, a moment of calm that signals to your body it's time to rest, to heal, and to reset. Most people report noticing changes within the first week: fewer bathroom visits, deeper sleep, and an increased sense of calm as the body settles into its natural rhythm. But even more than that, they begin to trust their body again. The frustration, the confusion, the waking nights all begin to fade. Because when you support your biology instead of suppressing symptoms, everything begins to work better. Not just your sleep, but your energy, mood, digestion, and even memory. The result is more than just fewer trips to the bathroom. It's the return of nights filled with rest and days filled with clarity. And that leads to one final truth. The knowledge you now hold has the power to change your life, not through force, but through alignment, through understanding, through daily, gentle choices that restore the wisdom of your body. You deserve to feel that sense of renewal. And if you found value here, imagine how many others still struggle without answers. Share this with someone who needs it. Help them discover what you now know. Because real health doesn't come from waiting. It comes from learning, from acting, and from sharing what works. And it all starts with one step, as simple as a quiet evening ritual, and as powerful as a full night of uninterrupted sleep.